So I was doing some thinking, which I always do. I'm always thinking all the time about stuff because I can't help it. That's just the way I am. But the more that I thought about this subject, the more I realize when we're talking about society and the public, there is no such thing as society. There is no such thing as the public. These are just words made up to control and spread more fear amongst people. It's an imagination amongst people that think there's this public, that there's this society out here plotting and scheming and doing whatever people think in their minds. It's literally the boogeyman. It is just like our imaginations running wild. And why am I saying this? Why am I talking about society being, it's like a fairy tale, society and the public? Because we have this concept in our minds that when we go outside, there's the public. We're going out into public. No, it's just you're going around, you're going to see other people that you don't know, that I don't know. And it's not like, oh, these people out here are plotting and scheming and the public is whatever. It's like, F the public, because when George Carlin said F the public, what he was literally saying is there is no public. That's what he meant when he was saying F the public. See, he wasn't saying it like F the public as an insult to anybody. He was literally saying it because he knew that it was a bullshit made up concept. And this is just one thing out of hundreds of things that the thought of the world uses to keep us under control and to keep us living in fear from how we really want to live for ourselves. And I, at my 37 years of life, I have come to this thing where I just do not care anymore what the rest of the world is doing or what other people are doing, because I'm not interested in nothing anybody else is doing right now. And I'm only focusing on myself. I only want to focus on myself, and I only want to make happen what I need to make happen in my life, because it's only ever going to be my life. And everybody can, say, oh, well, you're just a selfish person, or, you're this and that and that and this. Look, people are never going to understand you as a person. See, this is why I would say this is where this whole validation thing comes from, is because we think that there's a society out here that we have to live up to the expectations of society and other people. And when we go out and we're around people that we don't know. We have no idea who they are, how they live, what they think about, the things they do, what they're thinking of you. And what does it matter? Because you're more than likely never going to see them again anyway. Like every time I go to the store, every time I go to Walmart or wherever I go, the people that I'm seeing, I'm never gonna see them people hardly ever again, unless it's a worker there that I will maybe see again sometime, but even them people, I don't know. So all they're doing, they're just someone like me. So there's no public, there's no society, it's all a made up concept. See, us as humans, we have this imagination like when we're younger and they say the boogeyman is under the bed. The boogeyman's in your closet. See, we believe these things so easy because we have huge imaginations. Our imaginations run wild, and society is an imagination. The public is an imagination. Even when we say the government is people like us. It's people like me in positions making choices for other people. That's all that it is. These are people. It's just there are people that are either corrupt, there are people that don't care about anything, there are people that have servitude and charity for others. There's all kinds of different people that have different motives, different reasons why they do things, or their intentions are different for why they want money or material things or all this. And the whole thing is just, when you see it for what it really is, you will just never be the same. I can't explain it. I can only explain it for myself. I know the beginning of the video kind of sucked, but in order for me to get into this and start saying it for what it really is, it takes me a little while to inch my way into these videos. It's always, I gotta speak for a couple minutes about it before I can get the flow going and I can actually explain it how I'm trying to explain it. But it's just, you know, you're either trying to live the way that you think the rest of the world wants you to live, or you're living how you want to live. Now, are there gonna be things in my life that I might not necessarily want to do sometimes because I need to do it for a need or something that I need to survive with? Yes, of course, of course. But besides that, besides a need, besides a specific need that I need, sometimes I might need to do things that I don't want to do to provide a need for myself. But besides that, everything else, I'm not gonna do anything that I don't want to do. Nothing. Right now, I have to go to, because of my circumstances, I have to go somewhere, however many times I do, to help supply a need for myself right now. Now, if I could have it my way, it would be different. I wouldn't choose for it to be that way. But there's this saying that another channel said, where he said, cows run away from the storm, and I forget if he said buffalo or some other animal, they run into the storm. You see, I'm not running from the storm no more. I'm tired of running away from the storm of life. I'm tired of running away from my fears that I've been conditioned with. I'm tired of being played by these concepts that have tricked and fooled us because of other people like us that have been telling us all this bullshit for the longest time, And see, if you're somebody that really knows things, I don't watch television at all. The TV box is an indoctrination box. It is a box to control and condition your mind. It's nothing more. The whole thing is an indoctrination box. And I would say for myself, this is just for me, when I say you in these videos, I'm literally referring to myself. If other people want to refer this to themselves, they have every right to do that. But I know for myself, I will never go along with the agenda of the mainstream. You see, I will always go against the grain of what everybody else is doing. That's just how I am. I'm a rebel. See, if I see somebody doing something that somebody else is doing, if I see that I'm working on something, or I'm making something, or I'm drawing something, or I'm making some kind of music, and I hear something that is very similar, or I see someone doing something that is very, very similar to what I'm doing, which most people ain't anyway, but I'm just saying, if that happened, I am not going to do that thing. I am never going to emulate somebody, mimic somebody, want to be another person, or copy another person. I am never going to do that myself. Now, in saying that, see, here's where it might sound strange, but I don't care if people want to go off of the thoughts that I have. I don't care if people want to try to emulate me. I don't care if people want to make music like me, or write like me, or do anything like me. I don't care. That's fine with me, you see, because I know for myself, I will never try to be like another person. It just won't happen with me. I've always been a rebel, but yet I've always looked to see that everybody was doing their own individual thing, but having a sense of, okay, this is my thing. I appreciate my thing. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. I don't care if you, Tom, Pete, Jane, Cindy, Teresa, whoever else is doing it. I don't care, because it's not me. It's not my life. And I wrote something in my notebook today. If you're trying, you're lying. If you're trying, you're lying, because that's not really you. See, right when you try to be something for other people, or you try to be something for the world, or you try to make something happen that you don't really want to do. See, it's like an example. If I'm someone that likes going to baseball games, excuse me, if I'm somebody that likes going to baseball games, and I say, hey, Brian, hey, come to the baseball game with me. I want you to come to the baseball game with me and watch the game. And Brian says, well, you know, I'm not into baseball games, man. I don't really want to go. Oh, come on, just come with me. Just come to the baseball game with me. And then Brian goes to the baseball game because he wants to not put his friend down, or he doesn't want to hurt his feelings, or something like that. See, Brian is going to be faking it the whole time. You see, Brian did not want to do it, so therefore Brian is going to be miserable when he's there. He's going to be rolling his eyes and, oh, well, I don't want to be here, but I'm here with you. You see, it's always, you never force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. If they don't want to do it, then let them. See, if there's somebody that plays video games and likes eating Doritos when he comes home from his job and he wants to play video games and eat Doritos, then let that person do that. That's their life. You know, don't say, hey, Tim, do you want to come jogging with me today? And Tim goes, well, no, I don't, but if I'm going to hurt your feelings and you want me to come jog, no, see, me, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen with me. I'm never going to say to somebody, come do this thing with me, or why don't you do this thing? No, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I am never going to do something that I don't want to do and do it because somebody else wants me to do it, or thinks that, oh, well, just do it for me. Do it for the family. Do it to show that you whatever. No. See, that is the reason why we have been forcing this kind of fake and phony lifestyle along, because we're too worried about showing other people. We don't want to hurt their feelings. We don't want to let them down. We don't want to do any of those things. See, that person should know that, okay, well, if this person doesn't want to do it, then I'm not forcing them to do it. See, this is how I always been, even though there might have been some times where I myself, when I was younger and I didn't understand too many things, I might have felt a little offended or a little out of place because somebody didn't want to ride bikes with me all over God's green earth or creation. And I might have got a little mad because somebody didn't want to walk with me for 10 miles somewhere, because this is how I used to be. But nowadays, if I want to go do that thing, I'm not forcing anybody to do anything with me. And I'm not interested in what anybody is doing in this world. I am not interested in, see, this is just what has happened in this day and age. I feel like everybody is, this generation, it just feels like everybody wants to emulate, everybody wants to mimic, everybody wants to try to be like, they want to be like somebody else. It's always this thing of, I gotta fit in and impress people. You see, there is no reason behind self-expression. Behind real self-expression, the person just does it because they want to do it. You see, there is no reason behind self-expression. There's no reason to it. See, we all think, most of the world thinks that there has to be a reason behind why you're doing what you're doing. There has to be, there gotta be a goal to it. It gotta have some kind of meaning. It has to, I can't think of the words. The words were in my head before I started this because I was thinking about it, but it gotta make me feel a certain way. That is not true self-expression from that person, because that person is not worried about validating another person. They're expressing themselves because that's what they wanted to do in that moment. And that is all that I am about. I am a person that simply vents what I feel, simply expresses what I think about this world and life, that does what I want to do when I want to do it. And as long as I am not hurting or killing or destroying something, then I can do whatever I want to do. As long as I'm being responsible for me, I can do anything I want. And it doesn't matter if I'm validating somebody else for what I do. If that makes any sense. I don't think that made sense, but it's, you just get to this place in your life where you just give up on all that stuff. It doesn't mean anything anymore. You see, I'm not chasing anything anymore. I am not chasing. I am not seeking. I'm not doing any of those things no more. I am just simply being myself. I'm simply expressing myself. I'm simply doing things that I do in the moment because I want to do them. Like coming out here to make a video. I came out here because I simply wanted to walk and talk. I simply just wanted to get on the thing, press record, and start recording. And even though this is kind of uncomfortable holding this thing up in my hand because my hand's going numb, who cares? It's in the moment. There's no fakery. It's not phony. It's authentic. It's real. It's natural. It's genuine. And see, this is what I think is lacking in this world right now, is authenticity, is genuineness, is something that is just real. It's just somebody expressing themselves for no reason. There's no reason behind it. It's not for some goal or some purpose or some ultimate meaning, or it has to look spiritual for other people and all this stuff. See, that kind of stuff, that is for people still seeking validation and approval from other people in the world. And as soon as we can understand that there really is no such thing as this is a thing that has been put in our head. This is what the TV and the indoctrination box and the internet and social media and all these things, this is what they got us chasing, is this illusion that is the way to do things, when actually that is what's making everybody more miserable. That's what's making everybody hate life more. That's what's making everybody feel this pressure on them to be something that they're not, because they're trying to be like someone else. And then, yeah, I do. I feel like I am one out of billions of people that are talking about this. That's just how I feel for myself. And I don't care if I'm the only one. I don't care if I'm the only one. Does it kind of bother me that I can't, I like seeing my own reflection in when people are just being real with themselves in the world. Like when I see someone that is just doing something because that's what they really want to do, and they're not worried about what everybody else is going to think. They're not going by this concept of, I have to look a certain way for these people. I have to put on this thing for these people to make it look like I fit in here with these people. And the whole time, we're not being ourselves. We're trying to be something. If we are trying to be something, if I am trying to be something, then I'm lying to myself. If I'm trying, I'm lying to me. And that ain't never gonna change with me. Never, because I ain't gonna be disingenuine for nobody. I ain't gonna lie for nobody. I am not going to be unauthentic for the world at all. Because really, that is even a figment of my imagination, is the world. There isn't any such thing as the world, really, even though we say this, and I say it too. It's just other people out here doing what they do. It's just individual people. Even crowds of people are individual people. You see, someone that is scared to speak in front of a big crowd of people, really, you're only speaking to one person. You're not speaking to a crowd of people. You're speaking to an individual, but you think that there's 1,000 eyes on you when really there's only 2 eyes on you. You see, we look at it like, oh, because it's 1,000 people, it's 2,000 eyes looking at me. No, see, it's not like that. It's 2 eyes looking at you. See, we just think because of the numbers that they're all together, when really they're not. And I know this might sound, it sounds very weird. It might sound crazy, but see, crazy means that you're being yourself. See, I would tell people, be crazy responsible. You know, be crazy responsible. Because when you're crazy, you're being yourself. And when you're responsible, that means you're taking accountability for your own actions. And really, that is like the whole law of life, is do what you want to do, but do it responsibly. As long as I am not morally coming at someone or making someone do what I do and forcing them to do what I do, then I can literally do whatever I want to do until I leave this earth. It's nothing else matters. Everything else is just extra baggage, extra thought, extra thinking about things and worrying about things. And yes, my mind does this. My brain does this, and I can't help it. It's just from me being conditioned, from me being brought up with all this indoctrination, with me being brought up to think that when you do natural things, it's a sin when you do natural things. We call natural things sin. See, when it becomes, quote, sin is when the person has no self-control, is when the person is out of control. That's what the word sin means, in my honest view, is because that person is not self-disciplined and has self-control. So when they do that natural thing, they're overdoing it. They're not doing it in a responsible manner, so that's what makes it something bad. But see, if you're someone that you know that you're not pushing it to the limits, and you know that you're not hurting anybody, and you know that the sex that you're gonna have is mutual, and if you don't want to get someone pregnant, you wear a condom, you make sure it's safe. Hey, both of you can go get tested for diseases and go together. That's the responsible way to do it. Then you can do whatever you want. You can get kinky in the bed, you can spank her, you can do whatever, you can wear whatever, like it's like it doesn't matter. Then that's the person's personal business. And we have this thing where everybody's so worried about everybody else's personal life. Everybody else is worried if somebody's gay or lesbian, or if somebody does this or that. And it just, nobody's really focusing on their own life. It's just this thing where it's just projecting projecting, oh, what all of them people are doing this, and this is what we're trained to do. This is what we were conditioned to do. This is what we were programmed to do. We were programmed to think like this from the indoctrination box. And all the other things, even when TV wasn't around, it was back in the day when people got together in the square of the town, whatever the people that were in charge of the politics of that day, or the people that were in charge of the resources, that were in charge of the things that people got. See, they were brainwashed and indoctrinated with what they were saying at that time. And this has been going on for thousands of years. The people in charge have been telling the people from control and fear what to do. And myself, I don't fall in that category no more. I know what's going on. You see, I see the whole thing as clear as day. And yeah, there are little things that I have to do that I necessarily don't want to do because I need to get a need for myself, but yet that's it. It's only a need thing that I have to be a part of this thing. Anything else, I don't have to be a part of this whole thing at all. See, I am a separate entity from the thought of what the mainstream goes by. You see, I am an underground guy because I do what I want to do, how I want to do it, because that's me. I'm not going by, oh, everybody likes this, so I have to like it too. And most people might not even like that thing. They just like it because it's something popular. It's something that everybody else likes, so I'm just gonna jump on the bandwagon and like it because they do. That is fake. That is phony. That is not real. That is someone that doesn't even know themselves. They don't even recognize that they are being played like a fiddle. They can be controlled and manipulated by anything. If something makes them feel good, then they will trust that person just because they made them feel good at one time. Oh, he made me feel good, so I trust him now. You see, I don't want to make this video real long because the videos I make, I know people are probably not even getting to the end of them. But there's an example that I have that I thought of earlier or the day before. Say that I as a person, say that anybody, just anybody it is, whoever people think of in their mind, just say there's some person that does 10 things that you like. They do 10 things that this person really likes about them. Then they do one thing that they really, really, really don't like. That one thing is the thing that will deter them away, or they will say, oh, well, I don't like this person no more because they did one thing that I don't like or I don't agree with. So now I don't like that person. And, I gotta watch because I can fall into that too. I can see something that I like from someone, something that I resonate with, or something that I relate to. Someone can do 5 things that I go, oh yeah, I agree with that. Oh yeah, I'm all for that. Oh yeah, I like that thing. Oh yeah, I relate to that. But then one thing comes up where somebody disagrees on something that is more than likely so petty and so nonsensical and so it doesn't matter that, and for myself, it has to be something where someone is either morally out of control, or they are talking about something where I know that they're not understanding what they're saying to themselves, and they're completely mixed up, or they're being deceived or tricked with something, because I know, because I've been there myself with it. Then I will say, okay, I like what you do. It's like an example of, you like somebody's music or you like their movies, but you might not like them in real life. They might be a prick in real life. They might be an asshole in real life. And there's many examples of this too. There's people, they love their art, they love their movies, they love their music, they love something they do, but they can't stand them personally. And I think the two should stay separate. In my honest view, I think the two should stay separate, because it's kind of like with me. I know for me personally, more than likely, a lot of people would, I would not click with a lot of people personally, because I know what I want to do, and I know the way that I want things, and I have to be in control of the situation. I have to be in control of my own life. I have to be in control of the household. I have to be in control, because I know what's best for myself. So if I'm around other people that think that they're gonna run the show, or they're gonna tell me what to do, or they're gonna come along and say, well, I'm doing it this way, and the way that they do it is nasty or disgusting, or it's something where, like I said, they're not cleaning up after themselves, or they're hogs, or like just all kinds of different things, then we're gonna have a big problem. There's gonna be a huge problem there. And this is why it's so hard for me as a person to live with other people, because see, I'm the one that will, like I said, I know what I want, and I'll be the one to say, look, this is how I gotta be for these things if you're gonna be living with me. I'm just saying, if I was living with somebody else. I don't know. I don't want to get into that too much. That's not why I was doing the video. But it's just, the more that you see these things for yourself, you just realize all of this stuff was bullshit. It was just bull crap all the way along. And when you see it, you know for yourself that most of the world is going to, they're not going to understand what you mean when you're talking about what you're talking about. If you know what you want to do in your life, if you know what you're going for, if you know how you want to live, and you know how you want things, then it's going to be very problematic fitting in. It's going to be very problematic getting along. It's going to be very problematic with people that are not like you. You see? And like I said, these are two different things I'm talking about here. I'm talking about my personal life, and I'm talking about other things. I'm just saying, to mix the two together, it's a very awkward thing. Because, see, I'm to this point where I want to be my own CEO of my own thing. I want to be my own boss in my life. I don't want to have to work for someone else. I don't want another person telling me how to do what I know that I want to do for myself. And in order to do that, I have to start out small. I have to start out without being known like that, or it has to, you know, it's gonna be a thing where it isn't just gonna be this happening right away thing. I understand that, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this video. It's just me venting. It's just me talking about how I think about all this stuff. You know, once you know what you want as a person, it's very hard to, it is very hard to, you know, when you're a rebel and when you're someone that you're for sure of yourself and you know things and just the list goes on and on, you are going to be misunderstood. And even the thought of being understood, what does it matter if I'm understood or misunderstood? It doesn't matter. People are still gonna be people. People are still gonna do what they do regardless. So all of this stuff with trying to impress each other and trying to put on for another and trying to look a certain way, who are we doing this for is the question. Who are we doing all of this stupid bullshit for? Nobody. It doesn't exist. It's a figment of our imagination. We think that there's this world out there that is doing all of this stuff, and if we don't do it that way, then we're not gonna fit into that mold, and we're not gonna belong and all this bullshit. It literally does not exist. When you see it, I'm telling you, when you see it, yes, your world is gonna be crushed like my world was crushed when I seen this. And it was a very depressing thing when I found this out for myself. But now I am so glad that I found this out. Even though it was a very hard thing to go through, I'm glad that I found it out for myself. Because now I'm on the way for me doing what I want to do in my life. I'm not letting control and fear and what the TV says and what everybody else thinks that you should do. I'm not letting none of that bullshit hold me down anymore. And I would really like to think that other people are not doing that either, but yet again, everybody has their life. And I can't call it for anybody but myself. And we are in the day and age where there is very few self-reflectors. There is very few self-reflection. There is very few people who self-reflect and expose themselves and work on themselves and look at themselves and say, what am I doing here? How can I make my life better for myself while I'm here? You see, there's another video I watched with someone that said, why self-improve? I agree with that because I think people that they say, I gotta self-improve, they're trying to be something they're not. They're insecure about themselves. You see, I would say, instead of self-improving, I would say, get real with yourself. You see, have self-discipline, self-control. Get honest with you. That's where it's at. You see, we're looking for it all over the place. We're looking for answers from the world and other people. Everybody is seeking this spirituality stuff and thinking there's something out there I gotta find. And if people do this, I don't care because it's their lives. I'm just saying for myself, the thing that everybody is, quote, looking for is themselves. It is, see, we don't want to reflect on ourselves. We are looking to other people. See, a lot of the world is looking for other people to tell them that they are someone special, or that they are, oh my goodness, man, I look up to you and you're like the coolest thing since sliced bread. See, if you're still looking for others to do that, you're going to get let down. It's an expectation that doesn't exist. Nobody is ever going to validate you as a person. I know for me, nobody is ever going to validate me. The world will never validate me. The only thing that will validate me is me being honest with myself, is me getting real with myself, is me talking about things I need to talk about, self-expressing myself when I need to self-express. There's no reason for it. There's no agenda to it. There's no goal to it. There's no whatever these other words are. There isn't even a meaning behind it. It's just you're doing it because that's what you're doing in the moment. And I think there's no in-betweens. I think I'm either going to be honest with myself and I'm going to say it how it is and I'm going to live how I live and I'm going to do what I want to do and I'm going to be responsible for me and I'm going to vent when I need to vent, or I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to be putting on for people. I'm going to be waiting for people to tell me how special and how cool and how great I am. Or I'm going to be seeking validation from the world. I'm going to be trying to fit in somewhere. See, it's either one or the other with me. And I finally, I know where I stand right now for myself. I know where I stand right now. And I am never, ever turning back to that thing again, because I went through this thing again where I allowed myself to start letting the thoughts of others and people try to tell me what was best for me. And like, I let people in, so to speak, you know, like places I go and people I know. I listened to them and I it's hard for me to explain, but I realize now that will never work, because when you're trying to have somebody else, when you're looking for them to tell you what you are, you're gonna keep getting let down time after time after time. It's gonna be this horrible process of worrying about, oh, well, I can't let them down. I can't be this in front of them because they're going to think of me this way. See, it got to be a complete breaking away from that kind of thinking and that thought. And that's what I have just been in the process of doing. I don't care what the world has to say. I don't care how other people say, oh, you should or you shouldn't be doing this. I don't care about that no more. I am going to live how I live, and I am going to do what I want to do. And it's just that plain and simple. And when I need to express myself, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to simply express myself. And there's no other thing. There's no need to add anything else. Anything else that the world is saying, it doesn't mean anything for me. Nothing. It means nothing. It's just other people trying to get you to live the way that they live. And nobody out there is going to live the way another person lives. Nobody. This is actually speaking for the entire world. It's just the entire world has not got it in their head that this thing that we chase, this thing that we're after, it doesn't exist. It is an imagination. It's a figment in our imagination that we think exists, because they have been controlling us for so long, and they have been putting this fear in our minds, you know, thinking that we have to be a certain way for everybody. We have to act a certain type or kind of way. We have to dress a certain way. We got to be and act, and we have to put on a certain way for people. And it's so ridiculous. And then we're told that natural things are a sin, and it just goes on and on and on. All that I have to do as a person is be responsible for myself and make sure that I'm not morally hurting anybody or intentionally telling people that they have to do what I do and trying to control them. If I'm not doing that, then there is nothing wrong with what I'm doing at all. Nothing. It's my life, it's my live. And I know for the world, it's their life and their live. But do they see it like that for themselves is the question. You see, I can't see it for them. She can't see it for them. He can't see it for them. Nobody can see it for them. If they don't see it for themselves, then they're never going to see it. It's going to be a blind spot in their mind because there's still that thing there that if it doesn't get broken down, if it doesn't fade away from the way that we perceive this thing to be, then we're going to be stuck in it. It's going to be stagnant. It's going to be this thing where every day you wake up, the thought comes to your mind, I gotta be this today. I gotta wear this today for them. I have to act this way for them. I have to say this thing today for them. I have to do this for them, and this for them, and this for them. And it's just this thing that goes on and on and on. And I know because I did it myself. I did it myself so many times, and I can't explain it. It's just something has snapped in my own mental capacity as a person. Like my own consciousness has just snapped away from it. It has broken away from it, and it doesn't interest me at all. It's like a fairy tale to me now. See, it's like the Boogeyman. I know that it doesn't exist. I know that it's just some kind of figment of my imagination that I thought was real, that I thought I needed to be like. And it was all a mechanism to control me and for me to live under the guise of fear because I was scared to be myself. I was scared to express myself the way I really wanted to express myself. It doesn't matter what other people are doing or what other people say for you and I. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And see, when I say these things, I am not putting myself under any kind of category whatsoever. I am simply expressing myself with words and actions and thought. That's it. And I'm venting what I need to vent. I'm not putting myself under any category or saying that I represent this thing or that thing, or these people are better than these people and these people are worse, or I do this because of some ideology or some kind of idea. It has nothing to do with none of that. See, do we know what it is to be free in this world? Do we know what it is to do what we want and to be a free person, a free individual, to speak their mind no matter who's around, no matter what they're doing, no matter what they're saying? You know, it's yet again, when you go around a bunch of people and you're speaking to them, all you're speaking to is you're speaking to individual people. We just think it's a group. It's a group of people. It's not. It's just individual people. And it's so hard to look at it like that, though, because if there's 20 people in front of you, you say, oh my gosh, there's a crowd of 20 people in front of me, when really it's one person in front of you. It's just there's 20 individual persons in front of you. And I know this sounds crazy, but when you're really looking at it, when you're really observing it, and you're really taking it in for yourself, because see, what has even happened on my channel and this platform is it went from there being a couple hundred people here, now it's dwindling down. You see, it's dwindling down because I know what has happened. I know that a lot of people have gone back to the old way of doing things, the old concepts, the old, I have to be this way for people. And we can't let go of the past. We can't just be right now here doing what we do and say. It's always this thing of I have to be, or I gotta make up for the past and all this shit. The past is dead and there is no future. See, when you realize that most of these things were just, they were a way to control and fear. It's a control and fear thing, a control and fear mechanism. And when I came to understand this and know this, don't get me wrong, it was a very depressing time that I went through and that I've been going through. I won't lie to people. It's been very hard and it's been very rough because I have been deconditioning my mind. I have been getting all this junk out of my mind and away from my mind because I don't need it. There's no reason to have it. There's no reason to have it. And a lot of the world will look, I already know that people are gonna look at me and say, this guy has lost it. This guy, I mean, what is he talking about? I can't be with that thing because these people are gonna think of me this way. Oh, I can't be with what he's saying because my friends are gonna look at me like I lost it too. You see, who cares? Who cares about what they think? As long as we have it on our mind that we're worried about what other people think, and we're worried, we're scared to express ourselves the way we want to, then we are going to be under fear and control. It's that plain and simple. And having to shed that mentality, it takes a long time for some people. I'm still in the process of doing it. But I feel like I am coming to the end of it. I feel like I'm actually at the end of it, but it's still there lingering a little bit. Like the after effects are lingering. It's like I took the medication, went through the effects of it, and it faded off, and I'm foggy minded. I'm foggy headed, if that makes any sense. That's how I feel with this thing. I feel like I'm at the end of it, but it's still there lingering. The foggy headedness is still there. And I still have some of these thoughts and some of this worry and some of these things. But I know it's all bullshit. I know that it has no meaning. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just stupid thoughts. It's thoughts that are plaguing me. That's all that it is. And it's the conditioning trying to come back into my mind. It's the conditioning trying to come back. And you know, it's, if I knew of a way to say, okay, it's there, and I'm thinking of it, and I know it's bullshit, and I know it's all just a game, it's all one big show, and most people, that's how people live in the world, is it's all just a show. It's all just a fake, corny, phony show. I am not a show. I am real life. See, I'm not gonna put on a show. I put on real life. I don't need to put on a show. I don't need to put on for this world anymore. I am that I am, and I am the purest form of myself that you can get. And if others could do that for themselves, great. Great, awesome. You know? So anyway, I'm going to end it with that. I just wanted to speak my mind on that real quick. I got a couple other things I want to talk about, but I ain't going to do them in this video. So I will let y'all go. To each individual their own. Because that's all you got at the end of the day is your individual self. Nobody's going to validate you. Like I said, nobody's coming to make your life what you want to make your life. Nobody's coming to save your day. Nobody's coming to make anything happen for you. I know this shit it might sound even harsh to some people. It might sound weird. It might sound strange. It might sound all these different ways. But I can assure for myself that this is the honest truth of an individual's life like mine. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to put on for. There is not a fake bone in my body right now. I am not lying about anything because I'm not trying to be anything for anybody no more. If I'm trying, I'm lying to myself. And I've already went through the process of shedding my snake skin over and over, of exposing myself, of talking about how depressed I can get, of all the things that I did in my life and all the things that I'm still looking into and looking at. I had to be willing to do that to get to this place in my life. And somebody's either gonna wanna do it and they're gonna do it, or they're not gonna wanna do it and they're not gonna do it. That's how easy it is. So if you're someone out there and it's just not you, it's just not you. Don't try to do it. Don't try to do it if it's not you. You know, there is another way for you. If the way I'm speaking about is not the way for you, then do it your way. Find your way in it. It doesn't mean that it's going to be the same for every person. Because like I said, I'll never force anything upon anybody else or say, you got to do what I'm doing. Nah, that ain't how I am. I ain't got time or energy for that anymore. I'm just focused on what I'm doing. I'm focusing on my life. I'm focusing on how can I make my life better. Then in the future, I might be able to help with certain things, but I got to help myself first. You know, even if I'm giving to charity or I'm giving in charity, not giving to charity, because right now I don't have it to give to charity. But if I'm giving in the name of charity through words and expression, then that's all I have to give. And that is all I have to give right now. All I have to give is myself and these videos and my self-expression and my venting. I don't have anything else to give, and I'm not concerned about anybody else or what's going on in the mainstream. I'm only focusing on what I'm doing. I'm only focusing on, you know, my future and what's coming for me. I'm only focused on those things right now, because if I don't, then everything's gonna go to shit. For me, it will. I know for me personally, it will. And I do. I wish everybody would find their place. I wish everybody would find their place in this world. Just like that interview with John McAfee that I left up. I left up the beginning part where he said, I wish everybody would understand their place in the world. Just like I want to understand my place. I wish that each person would understand their place here. And don't compromise for anybody, because they are not you. I'm out, y'all. Thank you for any support. A thumbs up would be great. A donation would be great. Thanks for watching. See you later.